So, on the 10th of July 2025, President Trump met 5 West African presidents in the White House. They discussed all manner of interest, from insurgency solutions to resource agreements to bilateral interests, and also discussed deportations, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, deportations. The U.S. government went into discussions with these countries in Africa to consider the idea of accepting deportees from the U.S. into their countries. This idea, however, isn't new. It was actually proposed by the UK government to the government of Rwanda some 2 years ago, if you remember, and I did a video on it. And funds were even advanced to the Rwandan government to that effect, until there was a change of prime minister in the UK and the whole process came to a halt. So far in Africa, South Sudan has already accepted this offer, for your information, from the US government, and 8 deportees whom the US government wouldn't want to live in their country for whatever reasons have been shipped to that country in South Sudan. The information available so far concerning the details of this arrangement with South Sudan is not disclosed yet, except that on the July 5th, 2025, out of the 8 deportees, 1 is a South Sudanese national, and the 7 others from Cuba, Mexico, Laos, Myanmar, and Vietnam. A similar offer was made to Nigeria, which they rejected. The US government has a different type of arrangement with the government of El Salvador, where US prisoners are sent to that country to be kept in exchange for monetary benefits. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we are going to discuss in this video, and I'll need your comment on this. I'm Cyrus, and this is Tuntum Network in Accra, Ghana. Be kind, be generous to subscribe if today is your first time, and click on the notification bell for all of my videos. Let's get into it. So, on the 10th of this month, President Trump met the presidents of Liberia, Senegal, Guinea-Bissau, Mauritania, and Gabon in the White House. America, as usual, had plans for these countries. One of their plans was for these countries to take on immigrants who will be deported from the United States of America. And so far, 5 countries are yet to respond to this proposal. Guinea-Bissau president went there earlier, and same offer was made him, which he is seriously considering because it comes with monetary benefit as usual. But ladies and gentlemen, there are so many questions about this issue which we have to get into. Questions that must be discussed in depth. Let me start with these ones, ladies and gentlemen. Why would a country that is 1/3 the size of Africa want to send deportees to a country less than the size of some of their major cities? Why would a country with a GDP nearly 10 times larger than the total GDP of all 54 African states want to dump its deportees in such small countries? Why? America has the lands and jobs and opportunities and programs for immigrants to move over. So why not keep them there while they are already there, but to move them to other places, especially to Africa? What is the point? You move them to a country like, say, Senegal, and provide the government of Senegal some money, which at this point, we know for sure there wouldn't be any money involved, but some technology or protection. And then what, ladies and gentlemen? Why would they want to do this, especially in Africa? Or perhaps, ladies and gentlemen, could it be that the problem isn't about the opportunities for those people in America, but instead the ideologies of those people which America rejects, ladies and gentlemen? Let's rethink this for a second. Is it an exploitation of U.S. problems or a lack of economic support from the U.S. government? The U.S. government is currently cracking down on all illegal immigrants, especially those who went there either through the borders as undocumented aliens or those who have overstayed their visas. They have set a goal of up to 1 million deportations in a single year, which is this year, and already deported 139,000 people. Some of these illegal immigrants have genuine reasons to leave their home countries, and others want to just get a better life in the U.S. Most of them deported. However, with this deportation offer made to our African president, what will be the background of the people who will be sent to these countries? Naturally, I have a soft spot for immigrants because once upon a time, I was an immigrant, but still want to know this, ladies and gentlemen. Even if these countries agree to host them, how will they guarantee their intentions, the intentions of the deportees? But first of all, do you think it is a good idea for African countries to receive deportees from America? Why not send them to, say, Asia or some part of Australia or any of the island countries but Africa? What do you think about this? Let's know in the comment section. Is there any particular reason these people must come to Africa? That is my question. And also, which part of the world are they originally from? Will it be something these African countries can pick and choose the countries they may have to come from originally? I know most of you have different opinions on this, but that's what it is. And ladies and gentlemen, that is why we have to discuss this. Let's share these ideas in the comments, even though we know we don't have any direct influence on what these presidents will do. But there is another aspect of this issue that needs equal attention, ladies and gentlemen. It has to do with what happens when these African countries find these deportees as problematic and therefore wants to return them. What is the policy there? What clauses do they have in this agreement? What is the clause for when they commit crime or break the laws in their host countries, ladies and gentlemen? Under which legal system will they be tried? The U.S. is capable of doing anything, and we know it. They do anything they set their mind to, including sending spies as deportees. It is in our own interest to not be carried away by money and our interest in attracting U.S. investment to jeopardize our security, ladies and gentlemen. I have a soft spot for immigrants, I said, but we still have to be objective. If the U.S. government cannot contain them, then certainly there is something wrong somewhere. They have one of the world's best internal security and surveillance systems. And if with all of that, they wouldn't want to keep them in their country, how sure are we that we can keep them here, ladies and gentlemen? Already we have our own immigration crisis across Africa. Africans running to other African countries for obvious reasons. We have these crises. That's already so much for us to shoulder. How would we fare with this one, ladies and gentlemen? Let's hear from you in the comment section. I just wanted to bring this quickly to your attention and hope you enjoyed this. Let's hear from you in the comment. Like I said, thank you for taking time to watch. And please remember to subscribe and click on the bell for more of our videos. I'll see you in the next one. It is bye-bye for now.